As porn has become more normalized, we have been able to address it more openly. Porn used to be taboo and a sensitive subject. Now that it isn't condemned as an amoral thing to partake in, we can view it more objectively and analyze porn usage and its effects more accurately. With this open discussion, many people have come to realize that porn is addictive, with some people going as far as to say that they themselves are addicted. The hardest part of overcoming any addiction, if that is your goal, is to first admit that you have an addiction. So whether you aren't convinced porn is addictive or you are currently struggling with a porn addiction, these are a few psychological facts about porn addiction. Number 1. There are triggers. Like any other addiction, triggers are a huge obstacle when trying to get sober. When you try to avoid porn, you start to notice that it isn't just the porn sites you have to avoid. Sex and nudity can be found in movies, TV shows, and even on some social media sites. When you're trying to avoid it, your brain will be looking for it everywhere, so it doesn't have to be explicit. For example, if you watch a lot of hentai, just seeing anime in a similar style might provoke the urge to revisit your habit. Hearing someone talk about sex or porn, or even an innocent photo that reminds you of something sexual can trigger your mind into thinking about porn. Porn is a difficult addiction to shake because unlike alcohol or cigarettes, you don't have to go out and buy porn. We become so used to using our phones and computers for porn that it can begin to feel like second nature. It is just too easy to watch porn. Number 2. Sobriety is possible. And with that ease of access, we find that porn sobriety is a difficult thing to maintain. When scrolling on your phone is enough to entice you to watch porn, it can become difficult to imagine a world in which we don't watch porn. Personal accountability and avoiding triggers will take you far in mending those habits, but as with any addiction, relapse is always possible. Relapsing actually serves a function in your journey with porn sobriety. Watching porn again when you know you don't want to reminds you that porn is addictive. It reminds us that it is a difficult journey, but not an impossible one. The only way to avoid relapsing is by identifying your triggers and reaching the point where you can cope with them without relapsing. The biggest obstacle in the way of porn addiction treatment is the loose definitions of what defines a pornography addiction. Here's a bonus fact for you. Right now, it is not regarded as an addiction, but is instead a compulsive behavior. Researchers refer to it as compulsive sexual behavior disorder or problematic pornography use. Luckily, that doesn't stop professionals from putting it in the research and therapists from treating it. Number 3. It can cause physiological issues. While we're looking at the psychological facts, it's important to note that there is also a physiological element involved. Compulsive sexual behavior, like the overuse of pornography, is linked to high levels of chemicals like serotonin and norepinephrine. These chemicals affect your mood, so when you teach your brain to get heaps of it from porn, it can become difficult for your brain to produce that chemical in other situations. Porn addiction can quite literally make life boring. In their review, neurosurgeon Dr. Hasib Quadri and colleagues write, injurious psychological and emotional repercussions from excessive pornography viewing include anxiety, melancholy, and other clinical manifestations like sexual dysfunction and psychosexual dissatisfaction. This imbalance of chemicals and its effect on your mood has great implications for other mental issues. Number 4. It can be a symptom of a larger issue. For most addicts, there is a complex history that forms the backdrop of their addiction. It often isn't simply the substance that is the whole cause of addiction. It is reasonable to assume that it's the same for pornography addictions. There could be unaddressed psychological needs or circumstances surrounding pornography use that have led to pornography addiction. Because it increases serotonin and norepinephrine, it could be argued that depression makes you rely on porn for those chemicals. It's a question of what came first, the depression or the porn addiction. On the one hand, porn can make you feel isolated, depressed, or resentful to the world. On the other hand, resentment for the world, isolation, and depression could make you more addicted to porn. Whichever way you think of it, treating the symptoms could help you resolve or treat the main issue. Number 5. Hypersexuality. People think of porn as a way to release their sexual desires, but the more you watch porn, the more it occupies your thoughts. Instead of keeping you sexually healthy, porn actually does the opposite. According to a systematic review published in the Journal of Clinical Medicine, pornography use has been associated with sexual dissatisfaction and sexual dysfunction for both males and females. Porn can put you in the impossible situation of thinking about sex constantly, and yet sex is never fun or satisfying. You also run the risk of becoming more and more desensitized to porn. Porn addiction can lead you to constantly seek out more extreme or unusual content just to get the same level of satisfaction you once did. Number 6. It affects love, lust, and everything in between. Whether you believe porn is addictive or not, it's hard to argue that porn doesn't affect relationships. Many people blame porn addiction for cheating or relationships ending. At a certain point, you have to wonder what role your sexual desires play in your life. What are you sacrificing for porn? Porn doesn't lead to cheating for everyone, but it can affect your relationship satisfaction. The person or people in the relationship who watch porn regularly grow bored easily and are more likely to look for something new outside of their relationship. The person in the relationship who isn't as accepting towards porn will also feel less satisfied, as it can be seen as an act of infidelity. Unfortunately, like with other addictions, no one can tell you that you have a porn addiction. You have to look at the evidence and come to that conclusion on your own. What you do with that information is up to you. Anyone can find themselves in the ring with a porn addiction. With insane ease of access and pornography everywhere we look, there's no shame in having a porn addiction. Admitting that you're struggling with a porn addiction can be a game changer for your life, as you take those first steps to break it. Do you think porn addictions are more or less common than people think? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video interesting or helpful, let us know by leaving a like, and remember to subscribe to Psych2Go for more videos like this. Good luck.